pomade, and I want to slide it down like this so it has a nice dry to wet ratio and it will stick on my brow better. This is one of my most requested eyebrow looks. I've made a couple of short reels on it. If you want to see a more in-depth video about it, let me know, comment below, and I will work on it for you guys. Going in to carve my eyebrows. Because I'm filming YouTube, I'm not used to trying to make my brows look even, and so I do kind of like go off my speech and I don't know what I'm saying, and you know, putting the words together is a little bit hard for me, but I'm just here to show you my artistry, how I put the looks together. So just bear with me and try to be understanding. So hopefully the way I filmed everything, I kind of have everything looking even because I'm looking at my mirror here, but I'm also filming here, which is the angle that you guys see, but I will get better at it in time. This isn't my first time doing this look, but I'm gonna use the Makeup by Mario's Master Matte palette. The only difference is one of my first YouTube video that I've ever done, I did kind of like a gold lid, but this time I want to do more of like a champagne or like a maybe like a white lid, but I haven't decided yet, so let's do that. As a bridal makeup artist, there are certain things where I'll use this palette on most of the look, but I might change like the lid color, so it's very customizable. It just depends on the client's skin tone and their preference, and it could also be matte. If you want to see a matte, you know, centered lid version, I could do that for you too, but most of the looks kind of have like a certain map to it, and the eye shape changes the way that it looks too, but it still has kind of like a standard transition color to the dark color, so it does matter the shades that you pick and how you place the shadows to make the eyes appear bigger. So it just depends on the look that you're going for or what your client wants. You just kind of gauge it from there. Today's look is going to be a very soft version. My version of a soft glam is a little more heavy-handed, but we'll go a little softer today. Remember, everybody has a different eye shape. I do have like triple folds on this eyelid more than my other eyelid because I'm around different types of people with different, you know, things going on their eyes. You see this one creases a little deeper than this side. I do ask myself, hey, do I need to go higher on a certain eye more than the other eye? So I do take that into consideration. I also get mature clients, you know, mother of the bride, mother of the groom, and their eyelids are more hooded, so I do, you know, put the placement a little bit different to, you know, pretend you are me and I'm the client and you're looking at my eyes. I tell them to look at me dead straight in the eye, and I had to ask myself if the eyeshadow is high enough in the other side. But for my eye shape, you see how I have this extra fold? So by the time I put lashes, if I put a really dramatic lash, you won't be able to see the eyeshadow. So one of the things that a lot of people struggle with is being too scared to go higher. So on your brush, when there's almost nothing left, you want to go a little higher towards the brow bone. So by the time you put on your lashes, I'm probably going to pick a natural lash today. I have my eyes open. You see that fold right there? You'll still see the shadow. For this look, this transition color is pretty natural looking. If you want to keep it that way, you can. But for me, I am a full glam girly. I love it when it's like beat and creased and darker on the outer corners. So I will add a little bit more. I'll still keep it on the softer side, but that's just me. But if your client wants a very natural look, I would actually stop here and start putting the center lid, which I'll show you in the next step. But let me do my outer crease first. And with mostly this and just like a tap or two of that, I'm gonna go out here and go up. So you see how that add a depth to it. Some girls who don't put on makeup usually might find this to be a bit too much, which is why I told you that after the transition color, if you have a natural client, just keep it and stop it there and then put in the center shadow. But if you want it to be kind of more towards the medium and full glam, this is what makes it look more full glam. But the reality is that I could do it this way and diffuse it and it'll still look natural. It just depends on the look that you're going for. This light shade, I want to tap off some of the excess and put it on my brow bone. I go back with my transition brush that doesn't have anything left on it, and I just kind of fix whatever I need to fix here and reblend so that they could look, you know, blended together. The glam that I'm showing you today, I typically do it on my natural bride, going in with the Vintage Selection by MAC. It's a little hard to gauge, but you're gonna ask them to look straight at you and then kind of mark off where the high point of putting the shimmer is at on the center of their eyelid. The range is about here for me. So once you see that, that's your map to go all across the lid. So when I tell you about this part being customizable, I mean that it doesn't have to be a shimmer, it could be a matte. It also doesn't have to be this like shade. It could be a gold shade, it could be a white shade, it doesn't matter. You don't have to use the MAC paint pot. If you want to keep it natural, you can skip this all together and just go straight with a shimmer eyeshadow. But in bridal work, you want this to pop in photos. So this is a trick on top of the shimmer eyeshadow to make it pop more in videos and photos. The main part of my job is to make it look good in person and also in photos, but I always tell everybody that it is more dramatic than they think it is in person. So you do have to be aware that, you know, every makeup artist has a different style. This would be my style, and it's up to you. You kind of have to ask around and look at their portfolio and see what they could do for you, and any concerns and questions you ask them, because what I do as a soft glam is different from another makeup artist doing another soft glam. And this shade, if I want to keep it natural, I might just keep it here. If I want to go a little more dramatic, I might put eyeliner. It just depends. You see, when I have this on, I had to ask myself if I open and close my eyes, if this is the angle and the amount of shadow that I want to put. Otherwise, sometimes for some eye shapes, you need to go a little higher, about up here, to blend it. So this helps make the eyes open more. Under here with my transition color, if you want to keep it natural, you can skip this part, but going back with the angled brush, I will add a little bit of depth in the back right here. Because it's shadow only, it's softer after I put the eyelashes on, but at least it gives a little depth to it. So placement matters. If I want my eyes to be bigger, I do want to keep it more towards the outer edge, but it also depends on the eye shape. Now I can't tell you exactly what eye shape is better or which eye shape is not, but I'm talking about like making it bigger. I do have to take a step back and analyze, like, if I put it, would it shrink the eye or would it make it look bigger? So you just have to test it around and see what looks good. Put in my primer because it's important for your foundation to have a smooth base to stick on, and that's what it helps with. So you see how blurring that looks? So in bridal work, all of this, like for you in my camera, you probably can't tell too much of the details, but when you're talking about hiring a photographer where they're doing high resolution photos or high resolution video, you can see all of this very, very easily. So you want to keep in mind that when you do bridal work, you want to be as detailed as you possibly can and look at every single angle, right? I even look at little things like this and make sure that everything looks smooth. So because I am paying attention to these kind of details, I do look at every little single thing and then, you know, gauge where certain parts need more and certain parts need less, what needs to be fixed. It makes the appointment much more, you know, stressful and longer for me, because I want to make sure that every little single detail, you know, even like the crevices under here and under here are all blended, smooth, whatever, you know, the camera might pick up, and I do pay attention to stuff like that. My favorite primers I like to put together is these two. One blurs out, like gives a blurring finish, and this also gives a blurring finish, but it doesn't smooth the pores. But when you have them blended together and working together, it looks amazing. Do not put any face primer until you are absolutely ready and about to start on your foundation, because if you start it too early, it's gonna start, you know, separating or like getting clumps, and you want to work kind of fast so that the foundation could go on smooth. I'm an airbrush makeup artist also. Depending on the type of work that I do or who am I doing, sometimes some people have more pigment, they want to block off everything. I might go a little extra on certain areas than others, but right now my skin is considered not too bad. It's not the best, but I do have to cover a little bit of acne and a little bit of brown spots right here, but that's not considered like bad skin. But yeah, you want to make sure that you know, look around. So when people ask me, what foundation do you use because it looks so good, it looks good because I blended 2-3 different shades, you know. So right now I'm looking at this, I feel like I'm a little too dark, so I will go back in with a little more the lighter foundation, oops, on my eyebrow, and just keep blending until it looks right. The reason why I do not like to be rushed is because when mishaps like this happen, and you know, I'm in the middle of my steps and then I had the foundation on and it drops on my eyebrow work. It's very frustrating, but you know, I had to learn how to handle those type of things and fix it. Sometimes during weddings, there's a lot of stressful situations or things where the brides have to get up and go, and I had to kind of stop in between and remember my last step, and depending on how long they take, if they have to go talk to the florist or talk to certain people, I'm a little bit like trying to remember and gauge where my last step is. So I prefer an appointment where you could just sit there and not be interrupted as much as possible. So it's very helpful when you have like an assistant with you, so I don't have to, you know, stress out too much. But you know what, it's a part of the job. It's something that I deal with all the time. And also trying to beat the time, wedding time. It's very crunched, even if you think that it's plenty of time. There's just, and so many other details that go into it that people don't understand. Illuminators, because my skin is also on the aging skin side. So I have a little bit of like dullness on my skin, and sometimes too much highlighter accentuates my pores, but this one seems to be more like on a dewy look, and because it is of a liquid formula, it seems to blend and go with my skin better, giving me that illuminating glow, but without accentuating too much of my fine lines and my pores. And like I said, I don't do one shade of foundation, so I'm going in with my airbrush. I do have a little bit of marks right here and right here that I want to cover, so I'm going to go ahead and go in. So sometimes I get very close and squeeze, get close and squeeze, and then go further back and blend it out. So this is how you blend it out as an airbrush makeup. So you go close to cover, and then you go far away, spray a little bit more to blend it out. See that little mark right there? I'm gonna go really close to it and pull the button a little bit, so you'll get something like this. But I want it to be blended out and more seamless, so I will go a little further back and softly pull the lever and just go circular motions until it looks blended. So this is how I create a flawless base for my brides. So my primary focus is the center of the face and right here where the mouth is. Because remember, when your client looks at their makeup, they're going to put the mirror in front of them or look in the mirror, and these are the areas that they look at the most. So you want to make sure you nail it and blend it as well as you can. This is what you will get. The reason why I don't go with just the foundation color and I do contour and highlight is because you see the difference on this side. I have my contour on these areas right here. You see the dimension that I get rather than it looking flat like this side. So I want to make sure that this is blended and slowly work my way up. So you see that dimension that's coming back on the face? This is what bridal makeup is about. It's about the contrast from the dark to the light, and where your facial features hit the light on the camera. And remember, in photography, some of the lightings are very strong. It will wash off the makeup. So depending on your photographer's style, you gotta kind of look at their portfolio and see what it looks like. This might look too much, but it also might not look enough. I like to make my nose look like it's longer. So I do a full straight line all the way down. Some people's nose shape might look a little bit different. This might not look good on somebody, but it might look better on somebody else. It just depends. Like I said, as a bridal makeup artist, I take a step back, analyze what they have, their features, and what I can do to enhance it. Going in with Rare Beauty's Happy. So this blush is pretty strong. You want to kind of go a little heavier handed than you think you want it to be, because you'll blend it out after I do powders. This does wear down a little bit, so you want to keep that in mind. Going with my concealer, I'm going to put on the areas that I want to highlight and pop out more, and wherever I want to brighten up a little bit. So for my cheekbones, I like it to look a little higher, so I will do this part with the concealer, because you see how that lifted up my cheeks. So because I am an illusionist and I do make things stand out, that's one of the tricks for making that illusion of higher cheekbones. We're gonna blend it out and diffuse whatever we have to diffuse. So that's the reason why the blush looks a lot more, which is why I always tell you guys have to trust the process. And this is from my experience. So you see how I'm blending out the lines and my blush looks less. That's the reason why. So there's no real standard of like steps, but at least, you know, that's where that's going. And you see the blush looks much more blended. I have translucent powder on my face right now, and it did dilute the blush and the contour down, so I will go back in with color. This will be my MAC Studio Fix powders, and just kind of brush off the excess powder. Going in with my bronzer, I don't want it to be too bronzy, so I do a mix of the regular Hoola with the light Hoola. And I am a makeup artist, so my palette does look like this. Now in real life, I do different skin tones. I just primarily do Asians because that's what they come to me for. But just in case I get a darker girl, I got a darker, you know, shade. So some of the things in my kit are placed a certain way because it just makes my workflow much easier, and I don't have to think too hard. So I know once I pull this out, it's within that range. I just kind of look at their skin and take a step back and then ask myself which one suits them better. I do a lot of creams first and then go in with the powder version. So I will go in with a powder blush right here. You see the difference? So because I have the Rare Beauty blusher under here, it just makes my powder blush pop out more, but still looks subtle and, you know, blended. So remember, I did the liquid illuminator. You can't see it now because of the powder, but I'm gonna go back with the powder highlight and just dust it right here. This looks more, you know, blended. So if you had to ask the difference between bridal makeup versus bridesmaids makeup or mom makeup, sometimes I just skip all the liquid ones, so just go in straight with the powder. So their makeup look is a little bit toned down, even though it's kind of like the same steps. It just depends. But for all my brides, regardless of whether they want a natural look or a full glam look or a medium soft glam look, I always go with liquid and the powder version right after. So the biggest difference would be the placement and how hard I press on the product and how hard I put on the face for it to pop out more. It just depends. So if you don't like this much blush, I don't have to put that much. I could just skip. I could just do like a diffuse look like this. If you just want a light tap because you still want to feel like yourself, that's okay too, but make sure you address it. For lipsticks also, if you ask me what shade I use, it's a little bit complicated because I do the lip liner a different shade, I do the lipstick a different shade, and sometimes the gloss shade matters and gives a different, you know, depth or look to it. And I do consider, you know, your skin tone and if it looks good after I lay it down. So sometimes I don't really know the lipstick that I'm gonna do on you. I think I know, so I start placing it and then I ask myself, like I put this lip liner on, I ask myself, is it too brown? Is it too gray tone? Does it need to be more neutral? Does it need to be brighter? So that's how I figure out the look. But if you were to ask me, hey, what lipstick did you use and whatever, I kind of blend it and mix it around. Like, I don't know, girl. Whatever looks good, you know. Strip liquid lipstick. So if I press harder, I'm doing a more sheer coverage. If I just lay it down, it's gonna be more dense. And like I said, I like a very high contrast look. So even though I have lipstick on, one of my favorite parts is to put concealer or just something that's light right here, just to give a 3D illusion. Do I have to do it? No. But from my experience, I feel like this is what makes the lips pop out more. And I do want to work fast since I have liquid lipstick on to blend it out as fast as possible. I'm more of a matte lipstick girl, but sometimes this doesn't look good on pictures, or I feel like a gloss would look better for pictures, so I will add a little bit. And for me, since I don't like it too glossy, I only just add it to the center and blend it out. But if you're a glossy girl, if you're a girl that likes gloss, I will add more. It just depends. So if you're wanting a more glossy lip, obviously it'll look different than mine. If you haven't heard, I have my kit things right here, which I also have an Etsy store. I'll link it below if you want to make a purchase. I only make a limited amount at a time, so if you want to grab yours, you could grab yours today. I flip the pages and this is the eyelash set that I want to pick. So you see how easy that is to pull off, and if I change my mind and I don't want it anymore, I just stick it back in. I made it for pro makeup artists that want intention. This eyelash palette, I haven't seen anybody in the industry that made it, so I made it myself because it was one of the most frustrating things during wedding time, that I had to look through all these little boxes and look for eyelashes when I could just, you know, stack it all together like this. And just flip through pages and add the styles that I want to add. So it's all easy for me to view, and it's compact, tiny for my kit. So how can you say no? If you watch my videos enough, you will kind of get the vibe, what I kind of go for and what I do. So it's not like, even though I cut off like a certain step for a certain video, it's most likely because it depends on the look that I'm going for. And sometimes I forget. But if you want to go browse around my channel and see the other videos yourself, I also have done different eyebrow looks and different eye makeup looks, different shades. It just depends. So because I am a mom of 3 and I'm also a makeup artist doing all these makeup tutorials for you, trying to teach you and show you products that I use as a real life makeup artist. So when I tell you that something looks good and something looks natural, that's where I'm at. And if I need to explain anything more, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to get to you. People questioning my work because they don't think being a bridal makeup artist is work, but it is work. Like, it's just a different kind of work. It might not be, you know, something that's standard, or it might not be everybody else's career path, but you know, as a artistic person and very much someone who is creative, and I like to play with colors and shapes and all that, this job just naturally fits me. I love going into events, making people pretty, and yeah, so something that you didn't know about me: when I first started this, I would do photo shoots, and I actually did a lot of or I did a handful of African American girls. Now, do I post pictures of it? No, because I kind of evolved, and that's what happens when, you know, you stay in the business long enough. And now I'm doing tutorials for you guys. I'm showing you guys different looks. I'm teaching you guys whatever I can teach you based on my experience. So look at me now. This is what the makeup looks like without eyeliner. And I did mention that I don't have to put the eyeliner. I could get away with it and keep it as soft as possible. But for my eye shape, I need the eyeliner. So some people could get away with it, some people can't. Some of the reasons that I put eyeliner on is also because under here, the lashes, I want to make sure that it looks cohesive and not look like there's like gaps of skin, because it doesn't look good in pictures. It doesn't look good in video. And I'll show you what I mean after I finish this eye. You see the difference? Or maybe it's just me, but I want to make sure that all of this is covered as much as this, because this films better in pictures and video, while this kind of looks a little awkward. It looks a little bit weird. And there's also eyelash glue that's kind of sticking out right here. You want to make sure you cover it with the eyeliner, you know? So I pay attention to these kind of details. See that? Because my eyes are on the smaller side, I don't have to do a wing eyeliner. If you guys like it here, I'll stop here. But for my eye shape, I prefer it. I just feel like it elongates my eyes and makes it look bigger. But when I close my eyes, I want to make sure that this step right here, I pay attention to, because I have an extra fold right here that looks weird if I don't put eyeliner on. And you want to pay attention to those type of things, you know? That's my job. I usually don't do this, but you know, because I am on camera a lot, underneath here on my under eyes, I found out that bottom eyelashes make my eyes look bigger, so I'm just gonna do it for the heck of it. Oh my god, look at that. Now you tell me if this doesn't look good or makes my eyes look bigger. Tell it to me. Now you're probably wondering why can't I just put mascara on? Why do I have to go through all these steps? Because the camera and video portrays your look a little bit different. I have to shade where I need it to shade, and it takes more for it to appear on camera than you think it does. And if I were to go straight in with mascara, I swear I'm gonna get panda eyes. I don't care if it's waterproof. I don't care if you think that it's something that's really good. Although I might have found one product that might work good, but I haven't tested long enough to be sure. And I've tried a ton of waterproof mascaras, and none of them have been working for me. They all smudge. And just to avoid it and, you know, still get the look of the bottom eyelashes, making my eyes look fuller, bottom eyelashes it's the trick. Yes, my eyelids are gonna be sticky, but you know what I don't have to worry about? When I go at my ceremony and I'm crying, it's more waterproof than mascara. I don't have to worry about, you know, no panda eyes or black eyes. Am I saying that you have to do this? No. I'm just saying there's certain things to makeup that is realistic, and from my experience, you know, yeah, I'm trying to avoid having, you know, my makeup smudge down here. Although depending on some people's eye shapes, even like the dark eyeshadow up here could go down here pretty quick and pretty easily. It just depends on their eye shape. Can I do anything about it? All I could do is suggest getting, you know, like a clean eyeshadow brush to brush it off and clean it up, or add a little bit of concealer and blend it out. But it just depends on your level of makeup skills, and sometimes you just can't avoid it, but I want to avoid it as much as possible, so that's what I'm here for. Testing out all of these makeup products and just trying to see what works and what doesn't work for my clients. So yeah, I just came back and did my hair because I feel like hair and makeup done together just makes the look put together. And this is what this looks like. As a matter of fact, I see something that I want to add more to this look that I forgot. White eyeliner. You'll be surprised how much this makes your eyes open more. Do you see the difference? If you're an aspiring makeup artist and you're not sure kind of like how natural to go or how soft to go, everything on my channel, I'm a little more heavy-handed on my makeup looks. So my soft glam might be too much compared to another makeup artist. But like I said, you have to find out what you like and what you don't like and what your clients like. So sometimes a soft glam would be a little bit different for another girl, but this is up my alley. I do natural looks. I just don't post it as much because I feel like for my face features and my face shape, it doesn't look as good on camera. If you look at my other videos where I did very natural makeup looks on myself, it just doesn't make my eyes look big. And by the time, you know, if I was supposed to go to have a photographer with high resolution cameras, this doesn't pick up on camera as like strong. Everybody has a journey and you go for it and figure out what you want to do and how you want to present yourself. So these are my soft glam looks. Because I am an experienced makeup artist, you see how my under lashes have the white liner on it. I do know how to fix it without messing with the look too much. So I do go back in with black eyeliner, but without making like a harsh line, just to, you know, fill it in and make it not look as white right there, because that's not the area that I want the white eyeliner to be. Obviously, it is better to do the white eyeliner first and then put in the bottom eyelashes, so you don't have to do this cleanup mess. But sometimes I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know what steps I'm doing, but I kind of wing it, go back and forth on it and fix whatever I need to fix. And that's just kind of how I work. Okay, this is the look. So like I said, it matters the shades that you choose and the placement of, you know, the shadows or the makeup and the eyelashes that could change the whole look together. So if I wear the same exact makeup look, but I change the style of eyelashes, it could be dramatically different. So for example, I have another set of eyelashes, right? Which is longer in the middle area. And look at that. So we'll just pretend. But you see how different that looks? Even though it's the same makeup look, but the eyelashes kind of change, you know, the look. So you have to ask yourself, you know, which one looks better, which one doesn't look better. So you could be the same person. Like in my channel, a lot of the makeup looks that I do on myself, I look completely different because I'm just trying to educate you guys, show you guys how things look like and how shades look like. It looks completely different depending on what you pick. So there's no like real straightforward that, you know, if you use this pair of eyelashes that it will look good on your eyes. But if you were to sit on my chair as a makeup artist point of view, I will ask and evaluate like, hey, does her eyes need more length in the inner corner, or does it need more length on the outer corner? And you know, it just depends on the look that you're going for and what I think looks better on you. But sometimes a part of my job is not really to make you do a certain look, but I will tell you that you do need more on a certain part or more on the eyes if that's what you're looking for. But I do like that a client and makeup artist communication wise, that you tell me what you like and what you don't like, and we'll figure it out from there and add whatever we need to. Please subscribe to me if you want to see more makeup tutorials like this.